The reviews are in for McDonald's hotter, juicier burgers. Let's hear what Hamburglar has to say.
Bravo, bravo.
What our old friend Hamburglar said is, the patties are juicier, the bun is a thing of beauty, the cheese perfectly melted.
Bravo.
My burger dreams have come true. You heard him, folks. These are McDonald's best burgers ever. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Bravo. Available at most restaurants in this area. Comparison of McDonald's classic burgers to prior burgers.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
All right, let's get into it. VfB Stuttgart. This is the Porsche deal, right? An initial 5.49% stake that has been greenlit by the DFL. We'll get into the reason why that had to be greenlit in the first place, and it will grow to another 5.49, bringing this up to 2.4. I know some outlets have quoted different numbers. It's around 10%, and the deal is worth, and again, we're quoting outlets here. Kicker has reported 4.15 million euros for the entirety of the deal. Matt, we have seen numbers as high as 100 million euros. I think that probably includes the various sponsorship deals that Mercedes already has, not Mercedes, Porsche will have in place with VfB Stuttgart. I'm bringing up Freudian slip here, Mercedes, because Mercedes is, of course, the other investor that has a similar deal in place already. Matt, before we get into this, why did this have to be greenlit by the DFL?
Let's go back to the details first. I think we probably went over that a little bit too quickly. As people might have gathered over the past 6 months, this deal has been in the making. Porsche, a huge car manufacturer, looking to purchase a 10% stake in Stuttgart. And I think, as we've discussed before with 50+1, this is a stake in the limited company. Into which Stuttgart's professional football team has been outsourced. This has finally gone through. The deal will be done in 2 steps. I think, as you said, first step for 5.9% of the club, and the second step to follow in summer for a further 5.2% of the club, totaling approximately 10.7%. Of the club, for a total value of 41.5 million euros. That's the number that's been that's been quoted in two tranches. And that will mean Porsche will become the third external investor in the VfB Stuttgart Limited Company. A fourth investor being, of course, the club, the parent club itself, the EV, e.V. Eingetragener Verein, as we've been through. I hope everyone's got their notes. The other 2 investors, as you mentioned,
you need to mention
Mercedes.
the EV is the membership club at the basis of the, and that is really important for 50+1.
It's the parent club. Joining Mercedes, who have been on board since the initial creation of the limited company in 2017, had a much smaller shareholder. How are we describing Jacko? Sports clothing, sportswear brand. The international Jacko? Is that a German thing? Yeah, is that an international thing, or is that just German?
I have not seen Jacko shirts anywhere than Germany. Maybe in Austria. Maybe sometimes in the Netherlands, but they are a very historic German shirt manufacturer, but they're not a big one.
Either way, they hold 1%, so they're involved as well. I think, like I said, there were a few issues to get by before this deal went through. I think the first one regarding the DFL's own statutes, and in particular, as I've been digging into my research, paragraph 8.6, which I obviously knew off the top of my head. Yeah, we
don't
basically state...
downplay it. You knew it off the top of your head. That's all people need to know.
Anyway, this paragraph states that no entity may directly or indirectly control a 10% stake or 10% voting rights or more in more than one club in the Bundesliga or Bundesliga 2. Now, why would this be a problem in the case of Porsche, Manu?
Because Porsche is owned 75% of the Porsche AG is owned by the Volkswagen AG, which also has a controlling stake in...
Well, the obvious one is Wolfsburg.
Yeah, but there's another one. It's not a controlling stake in that case. That's Audi at Bayern, right? Volkswagen also is the controlling owner of Audi AG, which is obviously a shareholder of Bayern Munich. They own 8.33% of Bayern Munich shares.
And now for an extra bonus point, who is the potentially a fourth club who could potentially be in Bundesliga 1 or Bundesliga 2, who would also pose a problem potentially regarding Audi. Ingolstadt, correct. Previously in the Bundesliga, of course, currently 5th in Division 3, I think, as we're at the time of speaking. So, potential promotion chances, which would bring them back into Division 2 and therefore back under the umbrella of the DFL. Anyway, this would pose a problem. Furthermore, there's the issue of not, regardless of whether it's a 10% or more stake, it could be any size stake. You're not allowed to have. You're not allowed to be involved in more than 3 clubs. So that's where that could be a problem. However, this is solutions have been found to this, and if I can just go through the solutions as to why this has been deemed to be okay. First of all, we can set aside the issue of Volkswagen at owning VfL Wolfsburg, and also Audi's links to Bayern Munich and Ingolstadt, because they've been involved since before 2015. And according to regulations, there's been laws passed for the preservation of the status quo, effectively. Thinking German Bestandsschutz. So basically, these deals have been done for so long that they've been allowed to exist. So I suppose sort of similar to Wolfsburg and Leverkusen being allowed exemptions for 50+1.
I was just going to say,
for Bestandsschutz.
The English word is grandfathered in.
I mean, is what?
Yeah, it's the American term.
Grandfathered in?
Grandfathered in, yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, fair enough. I was going to... It's better than the one I came up with, which was a provision made to safeguard existing regulations.
No, it's just grandfathered. You just say grandfathered in American English. It's much shorter.
I'll take that, grandfathered in, and I'll take it. That's why that's not an issue. Secondly, that doesn't change the fact that the overriding Porsche holding company, parent company of all this, are now technically involved in up to 4 clubs, and is that not an issue for the competition regulator, the Bundeskartellamt? Turns out it's not. They've already decided back in midway through last year they were happy that the distances in terms of controlling stakes were big enough that the divisions of the degrees of separation were big enough that there won't be the significant influences over the clubs. There is, however, one I suppose more relevant solution which has been found, and that is that given that Stuttgart want to ultimately sell 24.9%, so almost 25% of the limited company, effectively each sale of shares and each new shareholding effectively dilutes slightly the total amount, which basically means that ultimately Porsche's shareholding, while initially up to 10.6% or 10.69%, will ultimately end up just beneath 10%. The current 11.6% shareholding held by Mercedes-Benz will also reduce to just beneath 10% as well. So
I think we have to mention why that is important.
That's why that's being allowed, because you're not allowed to have 10% in more than one Bundesliga club. So that's how they're effectively getting around that.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.